that going to be the same bug that UPL had?
I don't know. I need to. That's a question I have for our medical team as they find out more because it was through the night, um, and he was going to try to see our doctor and piece all that together. So don't know the answer to that at this point.
As far as having three goalies, I don't want to keep harping. It seems like each goalie has the right mindset, the right personality. They understand the process, so to speak, to deal with it. Is that right, I guess? Do they have the right outlook on things, I guess?
Well, what I know of our three guys and their personalities, that they're, I would say yes, but the situation is more challenging as it goes forward. Fortunately, in this case, we're playing lots of games in the next 2.5 weeks, but everybody wants to play, and we've talked about that with, unfortunately having guys 23-man roster and guys don't play. That is a challenge for guys that don't play and don't play enough, and we're not in that situation right now. So I think the mindset is good. These guys are hungry for their next game, and their next game is probably at some point soon by virtue of our congested schedule. So that usually goes hand in hand. It's challenging to have three typically when you don't have a lot of games, but we'll see how it goes every day forward from here.
It's no secret that you guys don't have a lot of players that are waivers exempt. If you continue a rotation, it's going to be one of the three young guys. And if they're helping you win games, are you concerned at some point that you might send the wrong message? You're going to have to sit a guy if,
Yeah, messages. The message we want to send is we're in it to win the next game, and so when we feel it conflicts with that, decisions will be based with with that winning. The other tier right under winning is we know we have to get better to win more games in the future. You need to keep getting better and better, and that's by design why we have one of the youngest teams in the league. And it happens to be the youngest. I mean, that wasn't a goal, but it was. We wanted to make sure we had teams that and players that would develop and develop rapidly by virtue of their age/experience, because we want to win more. So everything we do is geared toward winning. Development we feel is hugely impactful to winning more consistently. We have four guys that don't need waivers. At this point, we've shifted day to day with that, thinking of Quinn and Paterka stepping back as a developmental opportunity. When will we feel that that's not a developmental opportunity? That's when we're going to have another decision to make. So, right now we don't have to make that. We could feel different tomorrow in that regard as those two go back in. Obviously, we shifted Krebs into that situation today, and that allows UPL to continue with activating Quinn. So we'll keep going day to day, but not lose sight of number one priority winning, and number two being that development and maximized development will help us win more.
Against Winnipeg, you had 5 power plays, and I understand they weren't full power plays. But is it right to say that you guys are trying to force some plays on your power plays against the Jets?
I felt we did force a lot of plays last night. We have been very proficient on the power play, and that's been a big part of our game. And last night, the inability of us to score and execute at the level we wanted, when you're looking at a one-goal game, was costly for us. So, but forcing plays goes hand in hand with not scoring on a power play. Typically, if you don't force a play in a power play and you're moving it around, at some point the penalty kill is going to be vulnerable. We did create some chances, so I don't want to say the power play was awful, because we could have scored a couple, even though they didn't give us a lot. We could have scored a couple. We talked last night about Hellebuck being very, very good, and the old cliche in hockey is your goaltender has to be your number one penalty killer, and he was for them last night. So we could look at it after the fact and say we forced a play here, here, here. But had we scored on a couple that maybe rung the post or chances that Hellebuck wasn't really good, we wouldn't even be talking about that. So I think every power play you're riding the edge of forcing a play, especially when you're looking at how little time and space there is. It's going to look like you forced a play. So I don't think it was a penchant last night, but there's certainly situations where you wish you would have had back, and I know some of the guys wish they would have had back, only because you didn't score at this point.
You had 3 or 4 games where you had given up 4 or 5 goals, and now it seems better. It's not perfect, never is going to be. I mean, yeah, there were some turnovers and whatever, but overall, though, do you feel they've tightened it up defensively, played better defensively since that had happened, maybe in the last 2 games?
Yeah, I guess we have in certain respects, and then in certain respects you could say no. I mean, every game's the same thing, where you are very similar, I should say, not the same thing, but there's clips you say, well, we could have done this to prevent chances. I mean, let's face it, the NHL, you're giving up chances to great teams and great players every night. Every team, every night is giving up chances, and when you go back through the post game, you're saying, well, we could have, if we would have done this, we could have prevented it. Every team does that in every sport. So I don't get too mixed up in that. I think for me, we just finished 3 games at home. We weren't successful winning. It was Philly. Who did we play after Philly? Seattle, and then last night. And the psyche for me, there was, if you play with a little bit of tension, you're gonna probably have a defensive mindset, and you're not going to have an offensive. You're playing with some fear and some doubt. So you're kind of anchoring back and protecting. You're still vulnerable to getting scored on. But I think we lost a little bit through the Seattle and Philly game, that go on attack. We had a lot of it last night. We had over 30 scoring chances, which was extremely high in the NHL for us to generate, and we didn't score enough. So for me, I'm more worried about our psyche of our team. I think the defensive end is absolutely a priority that takes care of itself when we're playing high tempo hockey. And we were, I think, concerned with trying not to lose a little bit, hidden in there a bit, and that's what you get. You get stung. So I've said it many times. You can't fear, and we're a group that can't. We're building a group that doesn't, and we want fear. We want the other team to fear us, and I don't know that last night we played that way and ran into a very hot goaltender. That happens. But last night's game was way different than the other two. So tough to answer that question and say it's lumped into 3 games. Last night was so different than the 2 nights prior.
From a psyche standpoint, like what you see today, knowing that you had as many chances as you did last night?
They're good. I mean, good energy today out of our guys, and we needed to get a flush. I think they were tired today. You could see that when you're on the ice with them every day, but they needed to get that system flushed, lactic acid flushed, and re-energized for tomorrow. So, we'll find out tomorrow, I guess, Jordan, on that. I don't like to get too far ahead of things, and we did what we needed. I thought they did what they needed to do today, and we'll get ready for tomorrow, and hopes that that's the case.
You mentioned last night, UPL didn't have as many shots as Hellebuck did, but he came up with some timely and big saves. What do you notice about when he's making those saves, what it does to the rest of the group?
It's almost as if the rest of the group is he's been around long enough now that they just take it in stride. He's another good hockey player. We don't want to make a big deal out of lots of things. Like, we have guys that score 5-6 points in a game. Just move on. Just let's go. Let's keep going. And it's the same way with goaltending. And on the flip side of that, we don't want to say, look at this awful mistake. Look at that awful mistake. So we don't want to ride highs and we don't want to ride lows. And it's not conducive to, that trajectory we want to keep in consistency. So yes, Upi had several good saves. I think he's the type of player that says, this is my job. I'm supposed to make several good saves. And let's move on. And we we treat it that way. He's capable. It's not shocking. It's not surprising. He's a damn good goaltender, and makes a save. Let's move on. Let's go. It's part of the game. Like I said, you can't. You're not going to go through games and seasons without great saves and consistent great saves and have any success. It's good goaltenders are part of winning teams, and so for him, yeah, very very good saves. What I like is it's just part of the natural flow of things, and guys just take that save he makes and transition it down the ice for opportunity right away without even pulling him out of there. There's not that wow factor for it, and I like that. Doesn't mean we don't have a lot of respect for him and any other guy that I mentioned in regard to success individually, but those pieces are just pieces that are going to make the whole thing work, and I like our demeanor with our guys with that.